the Mindset Geek from GoToElle.com, and welcome back. Now, in today's episode, I am here to encourage you to review your why. So if you've been following along, you will remember that we are spending the whole of this month focusing on the mindset work that you can do ahead of NaNoWriMo to get you ready to write your book in a month. Reminder, it's only as hard as you decide it's going to be. But that's not the theme of today. What you might remember if you have been following along, in week 1, I encouraged you to think about your why. Why is it that you want to write this book? Why is it important to you? What will happen as a result? What are the benefits to you? Why do you want to do it? And of course, this can be applied to any big goal or project. In fact, I would encourage you to find your why in any goal that you're working on, because it always helps with the messy middle. Now, it's week 3. We are dealing with the messy middle. We are thinking about the things that you can do, the way that you can prepare to get yourself over that tricky bit that potentially has the option to derail you. No, it's not an option. We're not going to let it happen. And that's why we are going to review your why. So when you get to that messy middle, when things start to feel a little bit tricky, whether you're a couple of days in, a week in, 10 days in, if you're lucky, you might get to the actual middle of this process before you start to feel a little bit of resistance. One of my clients, bless her, she travelled just a few days after starting her book and through many time zones. And so she hit that messy middle pretty hard and pretty full on just a few days into the process. So that wasn't fun. But she got through it. She kept going. And one of the ways to do that is to review your why. Remind yourself, why is this important to you? Why are you doing this? What do you hope to achieve? What doors might open for you as a result of getting your book written? That is your why. And remember, I did talk about this in week 1. If you're writing a fiction book, you might say, oh, I don't have any grand big why. I'm just doing it to scratch an itch. I want to write my book because I just want to do it. That's fine. That's your why. That's how I got into fiction. You might have heard me tell you the story before. I kept saying that I wanted to write a book. I want to write a book. And I never did it. And so one day I just decided. And there was no grand plan. I mean, candidly, right now, I don't earn full-time income from my fiction, far from it. It's just an itch that I wanted to scratch and something that I do right now for pleasure. It's my retirement plan, is what I tell my husband. I don't know whether I'll ever retire, but I just do it because it's fun and I enjoy doing it. And actually, if your why is sheer pleasure, that's perfectly valid. But you want to remind yourself of what it is about this that actually brings you joy. What about this that actually puts a smile on your face? Because when you're in the messy middle, if you're at that point where you're wanting to review your why, I imagine it maybe isn't feeling joyous right now. Okay, I'm just going to put that out there because I've said already, writing is as hard as we decide it will be. But you still have to put your bum in the chair, or like I've said, I got a standing desk, but you've still got to get up and put your hands on the keyboard and get the work done. You've still got to show up every day. Otherwise it doesn't get written, unless you're going to do something crazy like write the whole thing in the space of 4 days, which is mental, and I really do not advocate that one bit. But even there, you've still got to show up and do the work. So it's called work for a reason. There will be times when you feel resistance. Now, yes, writing is as hard as you decide it will be, and I stand by that categorically. That said, we still need to prepare ourselves for the fact that sometimes your brain is going to freak out a little bit. Partly because your brain wants to keep you safe. You're doing something, particularly if this is your first ever book, you're doing something you've never done before. That's really, really scary for your poor brain. So I would encourage you and remind you, treat your brain like a small child and reassure it, shh, it's okay. It's going to be all right. I've got this. I've told you before, let's stop demonizing the lizard brain and instead reassure your brain as if it were a small child. It's okay, I've got this. These are the reasons why I'm doing this. This is why it's important. That's why you want to be reviewing your why in the messy middle and as you keep moving forward, because we have this tendency, I'm sure it's not just me, we go, yeah, we're going to do this thing and we're going to have these goals and we're going to, okay, yeah, I'm going to find out what my why is. I'm going to write it down. And maybe you do. Maybe you write this stuff down, or you do a vision board, or you record it in some way, and then you stick it in a drawer at the bottom of your desk and then forget about it. in order for these tools and these different things to work really well, you need to be reviewing them. Hence why I'm reminding you to review your why. And spoiler alert, this will not be the last time this month that I encourage you to review your why. I'm just saying. I'm going to put that out there beforehand because it is important. You did this exercise for a reason. It also gives me the reminder that actually, if you didn't do that exercise yet, if that's one of the recommendations that you skipped over, this is your reminder to go back and actually do it. Ask yourself, why is this important? You know, if you're writing a business book, what will it do for your business to get this book out there and out in the bookstores? Amazon, I've made no secret of the fact I'm a big fan of Amazon. I know, okay, Amazon has been terrible for independent bookstores. I understand all of that. However, from a business perspective, Amazon, you know when you say a word too many times and it starts to sound ridiculous. I've got to that point. Amazon is a massively underutilized search engine. Every single business can and should, I know I don't like shoulds, but in this case it stands, every business can, and I would recommend does, have a book on Amazon because it's an amazing lead generation opportunity. You can give yourself credibility relatively easily, even if you're not a writer. I would argue that anybody who wants to can be a writer, but even if you genuinely have no interest in actually putting words on a screen, you can still have a book out there. You can get your ideas out there, talking those ideas out, have someone support you, maybe a ghostwriter. There are options, but what will it do for your business to have this book out there? What is your why? Today is the day to go back and review your why. Remind yourself why it is important. Okay, so go and do that and have that ready. Don't hide it away in a desk somewhere. Keep it somewhere where you can see it when you need it for the messy middle. Speaking of the messy middle, I feel compelled to remind you, you don't have to do this book thing on your own. NaNoWriMo is amazing. I love channeling the opportunities there and that sense of community. But it's a massive community and it can be really easy to get lost. So I'm creating a small group of just 30 people and I'm going to be supporting and encouraging accountability mindset work to actually help you get that book done. No, it's not free. There is a price attached to it because my time is valuable and I want to be able to give you my time. However, the price is 50% cheaper until Sunday. And there's a payment option as well. So I would encourage you, if you were actually really committed and ready to get your book written in November, I would love to support you. Go to rentaboss.uk. You'll actually be redirected to a different page on my Go to Else site. But rentaboss.uk, not .com, because that was already taken. Rentaboss.uk, and you'll be redirected to the right place. You can find out more. And more importantly, there's a link where you can join us for 50% cheaper than it will be after Sunday. Okay? Rentaboss.uk. In the meantime, thank you for being here. I've been Elle from GoToElle.com. I look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Take care.